Peace and blessings. Welcome back to the channel once again, where we talk all things health and healing from a holistic perspective. And today will be no different. Today, we're going to talk about how do we improve circulation in the lower limbs, and also how do we get rid of those fat ankles, that edema that we call cankles. Okay. So let's first start with, why does this happen in the first place? Okay. Because a lot of people don't understand the human anatomy and how our lifestyles and the change in our modern behaviors are creating this. Okay. So first thing that is most important is that it's important to understand that the upper half of the body has several automatic pumps. Okay. Now, typically when we think about a pump for the body, we think the heart. The heart is actually pumping the blood, but it's also going through the lungs, where the lungs pump the blood from the lungs to the heart. It also goes to the kidneys as well too, where it's being recirculated as well too. So we have several automatic systems in place to move blood, to move the flow of blood. But when we get to the lower half of the body, we don't have an automatic pump, but we do have a pump, and that pump is our calf muscle. Okay. Now here's the downside to the calf muscle. If you don't use it, it doesn't work. Okay. And the only way we can get blood to circulate down to the feet and back to the heart is we have to have movement. But when you think about today's modern society, the unfortunate thing is society today is very sedentary. Like, we sit for hours. Most jobs today aren't manual like they were for our grandparents. They're very sedentary. We're sitting in cubicles. We're sitting at desks all day. We're sitting in a car to ride to work. We're getting in a car to ride home from work. So we're spending a lot of time sitting, and then we get home and then we sit down on the couch. So there's literally not enough time, where as opposed to, you look at our ancestors, they were walking to school, walking around town. They used their calf muscle, constantly circulating the blood. Now, here's why this is a big issue. Because when you're not properly circulating this blood and there's no pump, it pools, it sits there. Okay. You have to have movement to get the blood from the tip of the toes, which is going down there to nourish the body with nutrients and also oxygen. So it has to go there, but it has to come back up too, to the lungs, to get more nourishment. Okay. To come back up to get more nourishment from the gut as well too. So it's hugely important to understand that when we don't get this blood back up, okay, this can lead to several issues. It can lead to a DVT, which is a deep vein thrombosis, which is like a clot that could dislodge, go to the lungs and cause what's called a pulmonary embolism. It can go to the brain and cause a stroke. It can go to the heart and cause a heart attack. So it's hugely important. This is why we're seeing an uptake of so many people saying, I have extreme pain in my leg, which is sometimes that DVT, and then it dislodged and caused a stroke, caused a pulmonary embolism, okay? Because of our lifestyles, one. Another cause is because we're sitting too much, as I mentioned before. And not only are you cutting off the circulation to your lower leg, but you're also cutting off the circulation to your hamstring as well too. And that hamstring is getting shorter and shorter, which means that it's pulling on the muscles on the back. Okay, causing back pain, and then causing the hips to kind of compensate, and now the hips do like a pelvic or an anterior pelvic tilt. Okay, so now you're hunched over, you're walking, your back hurts, your calf muscles are tight, so you end up with an Achilles injury, you end up with plantar fasciitis, all because you're not getting the circulation and you don't have that elasticity in the lower limbs. Okay, also due to atherosclerosis, which is a hardening of the arteries and the veins. Okay, as they become more and more hardened, the arteries, as they become hardened, they're not elastic anymore. So as blood flows through them, it's harder to flow through them. Okay, and the more that happens, the less circulation you're going to get, and the harder it is for blood to get down to that area as well too. So that's hugely important as well too. And then lymphedema. We have a lymphatic system, and that lymphatic system spreads throughout our body. And as it goes down to the lower limbs of our bodies, the unfortunate thing is that it pools. And as it pools, and you got a lots of sugar down there, lots of salt, a lot of things that are just pooling in that area, it's causing holes to tear in that area. And that's what causes fluid to leak out. And that's what actually causes the edema. Okay. So it's hugely important. There are a lot of different reasons why we end up with these issues, but what I think is important is to get to these potential solutions, okay? Now, potential solution one is, I'm gonna always tell you, you gotta start with the diet, okay? If you're eating trash food, you're gonna get trash results, okay? The blood is gonna be thicker than it needs to be. It's gonna make the arteries harder than they need to be. And it's also gonna create tears in those arteries and the lymphatic system as well too, okay? So you gotta address the diet first. That also includes staying properly hydrated, okay? Another solution is making sure that you do not sit for more than 15 to 20 minutes. So what I like to do is set a timer when I know I'm gonna be working at the computer for a long time. Every 15 minutes, I'm getting up, I'm doing some ankle pumps, I'm doing some calf raises, I'm running in place. These are things to get that flow going back. I also do some squats as well too, and maybe some lunges, okay? Easy peasy, and you're getting some exercises in. The other thing I also do is jumping jacks, okay? That'll help as well too, all right? The other thing that you can do is take some castor oil, and if you have some vitamin E, put those two together. Castor oil has been shown to improve circulation in the joints as well too. You also can get a rebound trampoline as well too. A rebound trampoline is one of the trampolines that are about this big. They're small. They're not like the ones you would put in the backyard. And you just get on that every 15 minutes and just bounce around on that as well too. You also could use like some compression stockings as well too. I've seen people use those, and you know, they could be very helpful, but what I'll say about the compression stockings is that doesn't fix the long-term problem. The other thing that you can do is foam rolling. So get a foam roller and sort of just roll out on your calf muscles, on your quads, and on your hamstrings, okay? Just get on you could do it in the bed. I would highly recommend you do it on a semi-hard surface, but what you're doing is you're getting the fascia, essentially the wrap that wraps around the muscle, not necessarily the muscle itself, to relax, because sometimes that could be an issue as well too. So those are just a few solutions that you can sort of implement, and it could be very helpful. But the most important thing is understanding that you have to have circulation, because the blood is the river of life. And whenever you stop that flow, you create essentially a pooling and a stagnation that is definitely gonna lead to problems in the future, okay? So I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you are watching this video, today is August 19th. The cool thing is I have a group detox coming up for September. If you actually sign up today is the deadline. So you can get signed up for the last group detox of the year, and I'll see you on the inside of that and on the other side of health. Until the next time, peace and blessings, and Godspeed.